Alrighty, folks, welcome back to the Mushing Alaska podcast coverage of the 2023 Iditarod race. We're your hosts, Brendan and Sean, brothers from Atlanta, and Sean's the one living in Alaska. He's the one who's been mushing before. And, well, we won't get too much into our story. Hopefully, you've been tracking along with us, but uh, we're in day 4 of the Iditarod, and honestly, it's kind of a slow day for us. A lot of teams are in the process of taking their 24 hours. I see you laughing over there. And so, Sean, what have you noticed about that? Let's talk about some of those 24 hours that are occurring.
Before I say what I'm about to say, I just want to let you know that we are trained professionals and we do know what we're doing. However, Brendan, I can't see you.
You're still fine,
Can you
man.
fix?
You don't
I'm
have to worry
fine.
about
All right.
this.
I want
You
to
don't
see
have
you.
to worry
You
about
bring me comfort when I know that you're listening to me. It'd be nice to just, but I can look at my self talk. That's fine. No, I'm not going to look at my self talk. I'm going to look at the Iditarod website. Let's pull that shit up. All right. So, bunch of 24-hour rests going on right now. It's only 3 mushers moving, and Petit is resting on the trail. We got 4 mushers out of 33 not on their 24-hour rest. Maybe I'm missing one or two in there. That's not. But let's look at Nikolai. This is where we see our first 24-hour break being taken. We got believe 2 mushers that did it. Nick Petit and Mike Williams Jr. Mike, he is, by the way, if you haven't heard about him, he is from Bethel, Alaska. He's completed a number of, Brennan, I'm sure, is pulling up the stats right now. It's competed in a number of Iditarods and including some top tens. And he's good. He's a dog man. He's a good dog man, good guy, very quiet spoken dude on the interviews, but I'm 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 following him on Facebook, and he's actually quite like open about his training and his life and his experience training dogs in Bethel. Anyways, he is on the move just before we pressed record from Nikolai, and it's just it's so hard. It's so much math, dude. It's like, come on, you're this guy's leaving Nikolai after his 24-hour rest, but then you got like 80 miles up the trail. There's all these teams taking their 24-hour rest in Ophir, but they're not coming out of the 24-hour rest for another 10 hours. And then you got the teams that are taking their 24 hours in Takanda, but that's 30 miles back from Ophir, but 70 miles up from Nikolai. And it's like, okay, I can't do all the math. I got an econ degree, but I don't use it. Okay. But it's going to start to come into the picture
Shout out
very
to Georgia
quickly.
Southern.
Yeah, my alma mater. Uh, so, you know, it's going to start to become very clear who is in this thing and has a shot to win it and who doesn't. And, it's hard for me to do all the math right now. But Nick Petit, Mike Williams, they took their 24, and Nikolai, so they're done. They're all caught up and they're on the move. I think they're still a good ways behind. I think Nick Petit's got an uphill battle, considering he blasted out in first place. He mushed through the heat of the day today. He looked like he had some good speeds. You know, it seems like not the best move taking a 24 in Nikolai. Like that's what everyone's thinking. But I'm also thinking like maybe he knows something that we don't. And in 1992, Martin Boozer, he took his 24-hour Nikolai, the last person to do it and win the Iditarod. Maybe it's been 31 years. Maybe it's time. And then we go on to McGrath, which is another roughly 50 miles down the trail, where you have, it looks like Kelly Maxner took his 24 there. We've got Riley Dyke taking his 24 there. Joanna Jagow. I like saying Jagow. That feels right. We've got Jed Stevenson, Bailey Vitello, Jason Mackey,
Gerhardt.
Gerhardt. I'm assuming they've only been there for like 8 or so hours, 7 hours. I'm fairly certain that they're taking their 24 there, but it's possible that they pull the hook and they go to Ophir. But you got Kelly Maxner. in the top 5 right now. If as he comes off his 24, you're going to see him catch up with the front runners, because he's going to have he put in his 24 at 7:30 last night, so he's going to be leaving at like 8 o'clock ish or 7:45 this evening. So he's going to be moving a lot sooner than uh, some of the front runners that are in Takatna and Ofer. So that brings me to the next checkpoint, Takatna. And we've got Ryan Reddington, who's
Man,
top 5 right now. He's just had an interview on Iditarod Insider, and he's like, man, my dogs are chowing down. They're eating everything I throw at them. They're looking good and really enjoying the rest. I think it's understated in this coverage how much the sleep deprivation affects someone. If you've never like dealt with like long-term sleep deprivation, like it kind of ruins you as a person, and you like make poor decisions. You are kind of maybe most of the time it's not that fun. Some people can handle it with grace, but I'm telling you, even if they're all bubbly and happy in the interview, there's times in the trail where they're like, God, I just want to freaking sleep for a second. And they get to this 24 hours sleep and you get probably at least 10 hours of sleep in the 24 hours. And I mean, I'm going to be honest, I slept like 14 hours probably. So these guys are feeling good. So when they hit the interview, they're coming off that long rest, and you can just see it in their eyes, man. They're like, oh, renovated. Ryan Reddington stoked his dogs are eating. Richie Deal, Ryan won't be leaving Takatna until about an hour after Kelly Maxner does. But Kelly is 18 miles behind Ryan Reddington, so technically Ryan Reddington's about an hour ahead of Kelly. See where I'm saying with the math gets kind of complicated?
understood, understood. You're coming together here. You're putting that economics degree together.
Yeah.
So, maybe you're shaking some of the rust off or something, but I'm kind of picking up what you're putting down.
You got to pick up what I put down. And Richie Deal, he's leaving just after Ryan Reddington. Actually, they might be leaving right at the same time with the time differential. Pete Kaiser, he's leaving a couple hours later. Pete Kaiser, let's go ahead and put our binos, short for binoculars, also known as binocs. Let's go ahead and put them right on my guy Sneaky Pete. Okay,
Sneaky
that's not his.
Pete. Does he
That's
know
not
that you?
his nickname.
Does
I've
he know
never
this
called him
nickname?
Sneaky Pete. No, never called. There's a show called Sneaky Pete. I had a friend in college that we called Sneaky Pete, so I just naturally want to call him Sneaky Pete. But I think he's kind of being a Sneaky Pete right now, dude, because he's banked a shit ton of rest. His dogs are running fast. Look at his. Let's see what we got. Pete Kaiser run time to Takatna. He ran to Takatna
2 hours,
6 minutes
14.
faster than Richie Deal, 7 minutes faster than Ryan Reddington. He ran 9 minutes faster than Matt Failer, and this is only an 18-mile run, so like 10 minutes faster. I mean, that's a pretty significant speed difference. Like let's see him going into McGrath here. He did 6 hours and 11. Okay, so he's got a fast team, but I guess there's other teams with the similar speeds because Ryan Reddington, he's got a fast team still. Richie Deal, they're pretty comparable. But look, man, he's banked a little extra rest. He's a veteran, a Iditarod champion. He's right in the hunt. He's in that chasing pack, and I'm watching out for Sneaky Pete, dude. That's all I'm saying.
I
Um,
love it. I
Matt
love it.
Failer, dude. I fucking love Matt Failer. Sorry for the language, but I had a day, and Matt Failer is positioned himself in the top 10 for what feels like the first time in a while. His career best is 13th. This guy is a Kuskokwim 300 champion. Finished second place in the Cusco this year. He is so long overdue for a top 10 finish. Why not top 5? I like Matt, and I really think this is his year to break through to the top 10. He's got his son gonna be born in a few months. he's driven, and I think we're seeing it. Of course, Eddie Burke is a strong start. He's
I'm
also taking
expecting
his.
I'm expecting a move from him coming. Maybe not
I'm
off the 24, but I have a feeling something's coming from my guy.
Takatna is this is I'm going through Takatna for all these are all these mushers I'm mentioning that are 24ing in Takatna, which by the way they have super dank pie and burgers and all the things that you could ever want. There's like it's a proper village with people serving you all the calories you could ever imagine. Um, so Eddie Burke has positioned himself really, really well. Him and Hunter Keefe, who is also here in Takatna, some of the greatest rookie mushing you can ever see. And these guys really they're young. It's kind of cool. It's like uh they're I mean, Eddie Burke has only been mushing for a handful of years. I think Hunter Keefe maybe a little bit longer, but he's only like 23, 24 years old. If you see Hunter Keefe's interview on Iditarod, it is the sweetest thing I've ever witnessed. He's talking about his lead dog senior, gives him a big old kiss on the forehead. Every interview I see of him and every race this year is nothing but positivity and happiness, and he's clearly like super good at what he's doing. And I'm just like, I think to see someone like him that's young and positive and competing at a pretty high level. It's just like if we could have 30 more Hunter Keefs uh, to make this race have 63 mushers, I mean, God, that would be awesome. Mila Porson, she's was confused and she said in her interview, I don't know where I'm going to 24. None of these mushers knew where they're going to 24 because it was 40 freaking degrees. She's decided to take some time into Continent. She set up nicely to have a bid to get back in that top 10 for the third straight year. Matt Hall, he's been one of those guys. I think in 2018 he won the Yukon Quest, which is a
Correct.
1,000-mile
Yep.
sled dog race. And he's one of those guys, everybody's kind of like Matt Failer. Everybody's been looking at him like it's his time. When's his time going to come? And it looks like this is kind of the first year in a couple years where he's set himself up nicely. I think last year he had a young team and experience. Now he still has a young team, but they're experienced, and it's a good combination. Christian Turner's sitting there in top 15. Dan Caduce, dude, this guy has got a full 14. Oh no, he's down to 11
Down to
dogs. That's
11.
surprising.
Yep.
He's down to 11 dogs, but he's been banking a lot of rest, and he finished third last year. I'm sure he's going to see him move up the ranks towards the back half of this race. But and then we got Jesse Royer, Katie Joe Dieter, Christy Anana Barrington, Ramey Smith, Bridget Watkins, Eric Kelly, all there in Takatna. That sounds like a party. I've been there at the 24-hour break with some of these mushers in Takatna in 2020, and it was about that many mushers. And it was pretty fun, and it's cool to be like Eric Kelly, Bridget Watkins, Ramey Smith, the Barrington twins, Katie Joe Dieter. Those guys showed up, probably 8 or so hours after the front runners, but they get to hang out with them for a little bit. They probably won't see them. Maybe they'll see them, but probably not for the rest of the race. So it's kind of cool to see the back of the pack and the front of the pack hanging out, and they're all socializing. They've gotten all that sleep. They can afford to waste 10 minutes here and 5 minutes there. Ofer, the final mainstay. This is Nikolai is an outlier, and Iditarod, the checkpoint, is an outlier. But Ofer is kind of the last main 24-hour place you're going to see. And we only have ourselves 4 mushers that are 24-houring there. Jesse Holmes, the leader, if you account for the 24-hour breaks, I think that he is still in the lead. So obviously he's not in the lead right now, but he is once you account for those 24 hours, all other things being equal. Brent Sass is just a few minutes behind him, also an Ofer. Aaron Peck arrived a solid 8 hours or 7.5 hours behind those two. And so
Dude,
he's positioned. Go
Deke?
ahead.
Deke?
Yeah.
Dude, I
What
am
about him?
super impressed by that. Deke is in Ophir already, man. He must have made a hell of a run to get there.
Yeah, I didn't look at what he did. He was quite a ways back yesterday,
That's what I'm
and
saying.
that
That's
is
why I
kind of
say that.
wild.
Yeah,
Let's
that's a name that I was not expecting to see there. Like when I first looked at the list, I was just like, okay, these names kind of feel familiar and like they're in the right spot. And then I remember seeing Deke much further down. It's similar to the situation with Wade as well. Those are two people that are really popping out to me as making some strong moves here.
Yes, well, that is where we're taking this. Is yeah, Deke. He made a good move. He's a good ways behind the leaders, of course, but I'm right now. I'm kind of trying to watch his replay and see where he stopped. But yeah, Wade Mars, dude. I don't want to say that I kind of called it,
You
but
did,
I did
bro.
call it.
You've been calling it this whole time,
I've
man.
been calling it the whole time, dude. If you look back at these videos, I'm like, watch out for Wade Mars. He's way back there, but he's coming. And sure as hell he is.
Like a hurricane, man.
Yeah, he made some moves, and look, he's not in the lead. Yes, he's
No.
technically in the lead or whatever, um, but he's not. Oh, look at this. This is interesting. He went from Nikolai to Takana. Fascinating. All right. Pardon my wow.
Intra
Deke, dude.
analysis.
Holy shit. I don't know if I'm seeing this wrong.
Tell us what you think you're
Let's
seeing.
I think that he may have just ran from Nikolai to Ophir. Let's confirm. When did he leave Nikolai? Let's see. Um, this is Nacton born. He left at 5:24 yesterday, and then he got to Cotton Ophir. He got to Ophir at 17. Okay, no, he stopped somewhere in there. I just missed something because the total time elapsed. Yeah, so he's doing good. All right, sorry guys. So Wade Mars, he stopped for about 5.5 hours in Nikolai. Then he mushed to McGrath, where he stopped about 4.5 hours. So that's a 50-mile run or so, and then he ran from McGrath past Ophir and camped about oh looks like 5-10 miles outside of Ophir, and he did so for another 4 to 5 hour rest. And so now he's gonna push all the way to Iditarod.
Yeah.
So he's gonna go along. This is dude. This is the kind of mushing that for me personally I love. Is when people that lurk in the back of the pack. You'd forget. Oh, look, Nick Petit. He got to Nikolai before everyone else. Oh yeah, let's interview Ryan Reddington. He's in first place, first to this checkpoint. Wade Mars is quietly in the back of the pack. His first run in the Iditarod was 30 miles. Okay, no one else in this race will run 30 miles in the top 20 and then stop and rest. Okay, unless there's some terrible storm or something. This guy runs 30 miles with a healthy team, rests for 2 hours. Runs another 30 miles with a healthy team, rests for 3 hours. Right? He's going short, short, short rest, making it super easy on his dogs, super hard on Wade. When you rest for 2 hours, you're not sleeping. When you rest for 3 hours, guess what? Not sleeping. Right? When you rest for 4 plus, okay, you might be able to get a nap in. But all of his rests are he did those short runs, short rests. Now he eventually got to those 40 plus mile runs. Now he's getting to then he got to those 50 plus mile runs. But he's never gone really. I don't think his longest run has been like 50 miles. He went from McGrath to Ophir. That's 41 miles. He only went like less than 10 miles outside of Ophir. So that's less than a 50-mile run. So he went past Ophir, doing only sub 50-mile runs. And now he's about to hit this kind of monster of a run, 362. We're looking
He's
at
just shy of 50 miles.
no, the run that he's about to do is
To Iditarod is 432, and he's
it's going to be a
16 miles.
70-mile run. So from Ophir to Iditarod, according to the map, which look, it's probably off by a few miles, but according from Ophir to Iditarod is
80 miles.
80 miles. He stopped about 5 to 10 miles outside of Ophir. It's hard to say exactly,
Okay. Got you. I
right?
was
So
just
he's
looking
going
at it right now. Right now
right.
he's got a little under 50 miles of it left. So he's 50 miles in or 30 miles into an 80-mile run, give or take.
What was that tattoo you said that Brent has?
Got to run your own race, bro.
Dude, this is the epitome of what we're seeing right now. He's had all these guys going pretty. Like, this is what Sebastian Schnull said on the video that we just released, which you should totally watch because his analysis is so much better than ours. No offense to myself and you, Brendan. But running the way that this race was started has been pretty like aggressive schedules, and people are kind of raced right from the start. Wade did not race at the start. I'm gonna get my team strong, and I would rather, he's thinking that these teams are gonna lose their speed. He's betting on Sass, Holmes, Reddington, all those guys. They're going to be running at 7 miles an hour, while Wade will have that very well rested team running at 8.5 miles an hour. That's what Wade's betting on with these all sub 50-mile runs, 3 to 4 to 5. Dude, he did a 5.5 hour rest in Nikolai. That's like a crazy long rest. So look, he's probably gonna have quite a bit of time to make up because look, he's gonna get to Iditarod and probably 11 o'clock to or so 12 o'clock tonight. That's gonna set him up really nicely to leave his 24 in the middle of the night. But he's moving 7 miles an hour. It's a notoriously slow trail. That's not a bad speed to be going. There's a lot of up and downs and rolling hills through this section of trail. But it's going to be interesting to see how it all works out because it is a little bit of a bold play, but I like it. I like it a lot, and I don't know, man. I think we might see Wade knocking out the door here once you get to the coast. So once these teams come out of their 24 and Ophir and Takatna, they're gonna blow by Wade. He's gonna be coming. He's gonna be still sitting in his 24 as those teams are going by. So he is gonna lose this lead, but I think he's building a pretty strong monster in front of his sled. So I'm
And
excited.
listen, on a day that's as slow as today is, right? And with as many people that are doing their 24 hours that they are, it's nice to see this going on. It gives us something to talk about. Again, I was in utter disbelief when I checked on the GPS and was like, okay, I literally was like, Wade is in last place. Not what was that, 36 hours ago. And now he's got himself back into a good position. So on that note, we're going to leave you with that. We will be returning tomorrow with another update for you all. But we hope that you enjoy. If you are enjoyed, please like and subscribe. And until next time, have a good night.